What I eat, Mounjaro weight loss. I've lost 70 pounds and I'm currently on Mounjaro, 12.5 milligrams. I'm going to show you today all of my amazing high protein focus, how I've lost 70 pounds, soon going up to Mounjaro 15 milligrams. But we're going to first start off on a massive way to save money, which is with my frozen vegetables. Now, I never made frozen vegetables on sheet pans because I would worry they were going to be squishy. My friends, I have hacked the recipe. I put it down in my countessofshopping.com blog, which is down in the description link below. I've got a full recipe for you if you're a visual person. It's really easy to make it. It's literally saved us on our grocery bill over $100 this month, about 25 to $30 per week by using frozen vegetables for our dinners and leftovers for our lunches. You literally just put them on a tray with parchment paper. I use a very high quality olive oil. It's Laconico olive oil, and you roast them on 425 degrees. And you flip them every 15 minutes, flipping it over, and it makes them very crispy. I'll flip them 2, 3, 4 times, depending on how much time I have and how crispy I want them. We've been doing this with broccoli for my Mounjaro weight loss and to get fiber in, because fiber and protein are so important for Mounjaro side effects. And if you have Mounjaro constipation or just in general, it's good for health. I did catch my parchment paper on fire because I decided to broil them because I was running out of time in the morning. I wanted to do some meal prep when I first started my what I eat in the day. And so I did catch my parchment paper on fire. I'm like the Swedish chef when I cook, but that's okay. It's royal living meeting real life here at Countess of Shopping. And make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. So I'm scooping these into a bowl. I was making some meal prep. This was early in the morning because I needed to get some work done with my other full-time job. With my other full-time job, I needed to get it done. And I made a bunch of leftovers too. So incredibly inexpensive, fresh organic broccoli, super, super easy to make. Okay. Next up, I've got protein waffles. This was actually my Mounjaro breakfast. The easiest recipe, I'll link it down in the description link below on my countessofshopping.com/blog recipe, but it'll be linked in the description. Literally, it has in here so much protein, high protein. My goal is to have 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. I included Lmnt electrolytes, but they just came out and released their chocolate medley. My friends, it is the most mouth-watering, delicious electrolytes. And for me, Mounjaro makes side effects like having leg cramps, body aches. That's not common for everybody, but for me it is. And Lmnt has massively helped with my side effects, having started to use it like 6 or 7 months ago or 8 months ago. So literally I'm putting in there, they have the chocolate medley with the chocolate raspberry. They've got the chocolate chai and the chocolate mint. I made one of each in my protein waffles. And again, the whole recipe is down in the description link below for you, but it's basically 1.5 cup of unsweetened almond milk with your Lmnt electrolytes on there. You can get your Lmnt electrolytes at
go to DRINKLMNT.com/QUEEN to get your 8 free sticks with purchase today.
Really easy to make this recipe. I made 4 servings. Very high in protein. And what I did is, people get freaked out about oats if you're doing low carb. I'm low carb too on my Mounjaro 70-pound weight loss. I'm literally putting a cup of oats. It's basically 1/4 of a cup of oats into my protein bowls and my overnight oat bowls that I have. These will last 3 days. So I added into it a teaspoon of chia seeds in there just to cram in some extra protein. Plus I love chia seeds. Anyone else, tell me in the comments. I'm a huge chia seed lover. 1 scoop of my favorite protein powder in there. You could use whatever protein powder you wanted. Dump that in there as well. I was trying to use up some of my pumpkin spice protein powder in there too, but you could use whatever. And then I used 1 stick of the Lmnt electrolytes. So I'm getting in there my magnesium, my potassium, my sodium. So important with electrolytes for me on my weight loss journey and keeping those Mounjaro side effects at bay, particularly because I get tired with Mounjaro too. It really, really helps the way that I feel. And I have a noticeable difference when I take it versus when I don't. You can also put the electrolytes into hot beverages too. That chocolate chai in coffee it rivals Starbucks, by the way. It's so good. And so there's the chocolate mint. My honey bunny wanted that. That's his favorite. He's like, that's so good. Because you can put them in hot coffee, hot tea, or I just like putting them in my overnight oats because it adds so much flavor, but also with the magnesium, potassium, and sodium, it's so beneficial too. So I'm making my bowls and then I'm mixing in for the high protein. It's cottage cheese with that almond milk in the blender. So much protein in that cottage cheese. You could use full fat cottage cheese if you wanted to, or you could use a low fat cottage cheese if you wanted to, and then just pour your mixture. Y'all, I just eyeballed it. You could measure it out exactly. I don't have time for that, but if you want to, you totally could. I literally just dumped everything in the blender, which again, the recipe's down in the description link below for the exact measurements. And then I just 1/4th it for the cottage cheese slash unsweetened almond milk together, and then poured it into those glass containers, which my favorite glass containers are also linked down in the description link below, as is that Element promo link to get those 8 free sticks of them. Then I just mixed it all together. You could shake it, but I personally just like mixing it with a fork just to make sure it's fully mixed in. And then those can be used over the next 3 days for my kid, for myself, for my hot husband, the Count. They're so good. I love them. But this is how I made my protein pancakes is I use that mixture plus 1 egg, and I put it, you can use it as the overnight oats, but then I also used it with 1 egg to make waffles. Yes, you can make waffles. Just put some Pam down. I used my Dash waffle maker, and then I had on there 2 protein pancakes. Y'all, I was so full. They're cottage cheese pancakes, basically, with the fixins in there and the protein powder. It is so delicious. It's crispy. If you want something crispy, because I'm a texture person, makes such a big difference. Okay, next up, I'm making lunch. Remember how I made my broccoli? I am making tomatoes with feta cheese together. It's literally it was a container of tomatoes. I washed them, and then I put a log of not feta cheese. I use goat cheese, and there I am a Swedish chef. I dropped some of the tomatoes on the ground and had to throw those away. I have my little mixture using my Laconico high grade olive oil on there, and then just put some seasoning with it as well. And I'm preheating the oven 400 degrees. I'm going to leave it in there for 30 minutes to cook the recipe. I simply used some garlic powder, and I just eyeballed it, y'all. Some salt and some pepper. And I was very generous with my seasoning because my friend David said, Elizabeth, you need more seasoning on your food. So I am. And I'm using Molden Salt too, by the way. I love their stuff. So I baked that together 30 minutes. Now it's all roasted. You can see it's bubbling and delicious. And you just mash the tomatoes with a fork. This is going to be the sauce on my protein bowl. But it has protein because of the goat cheese. In hindsight, I would use half the goat cheese. I actually used one of the goat cheese logs from Costco. So it was, I don't know, like 12 or 13 ounces of goat cheese. I would honestly use 5 or 6 ounces of goat cheese with that many tomatoes. I felt like it was too goat cheesy. Next up, I'm cooking my turkey because I got a free turkey. It was a $55 turkey free from my grocery store. Run to your grocery stores now because apparently hams are going to be on sale during December, just FYI. So if you're trying to get protein that's inexpensive but really good, clean protein, I'm loving this turkey, by the way. I just poured in there some bone broth, cooked it at 350 degrees, and then every 40 for like 6 hours because it was a 22-pound bird. It was huge, 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 huge. And then every 45 minutes, I was basting the bone broth onto it as well. I'm also making garlic, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute, fresh garlic, like so many fresh foods. This seems like I'm cooking a lot, but I promise I'm not. I'm going to eat these foods for the next 2 to 3 days. So it's really, I'm cooking this big bulk, but it's really not because I'm spacing it out through the day as I'm doing my other day-to-day tasks. And massively inexpensive. So that turkey was free, but in general, turkeys cost like $1 to $2 per pound. I have found them in my area, my neck of the woods in rural Virginia, for $1 a pound. Y'all, that is inexpensive if you want to cut down on your grocery bill. So this is after I peeled off, after I cooked the turkey, we just simply made leftovers for it. I ate on it for 2 days, and then the rest of it I put in the freezer for later on to eat later on in soups. And I'm going to make turkey meatballs. I'll show you guys how to do that. So make sure you click subscribe so you can see that upcoming video. Soups, meatballs, and then also enchiladas. I'm going to make out of them really high, clean, lean protein. For me, with Mounjaro weight loss, I have found I have to have leaner proteins or else I get massive gastrointestinal issues. So that's one of the reasons why I'm loving turkey and chicken and things like that. So I'm going to make some fresh garlic cloves in the oven. It's really easy to make, my friends. You literally just get a garlic clove. I got mine from Costco, a big bag of garlic. You put it in some foil with some olive oil and you roast it on 400 degrees or 425. And you can check down below the recipe too. Just put some olive oil on it, pop that sucker into the oven, cook it for 30 minutes, and you can eyeball it and see. Cook it until it gets squishy. So you can press your fork into it. That is the right texture, by the way. It's like a golden brown, crispy, and then you just squeeze the garlic clove so you can squeeze it and put it onto your protein if you're wanting more flavoring. It is so delicious, so yummy. So how I did my protein bowl, I put down my broccoli. Remember, I made it earlier in the day, just reheated that up. It's still crispy and delicious. Scooped on my goat cheese and tomato sauce on there, an abundant portion of my turkey. Y'all, this bowl, it was really way too much. It was like that portion size was literally just, I only ate half of it because I got so full. It's so good. And I put a little bit more sauce, mixed everything together with the goat cheese, the tomatoes, the broccoli, the turkey. Ooh la la, so inexpensive, so delicious, so easy to make in terms of time savings. If you're busy like me and you want easy, quick Mounjaro protein ideas, this is the best protein idea because of the sauce. Could you use feta cheese instead of goat cheese? Of course you can, but it's absolutely delicious and really high in protein. I wish I had used less goat cheese in there, and I'll just do that next time. I'm learning with my little recipes here, but that lasted us. We had that for 3 days. Here's another version of it. I actually used a rotisserie chicken later on in the week instead of the turkey, because remember, I only left it out for 2 days. Some people like to leave stuff out like that. I'm just weird about getting food poisoning. So there's the leftovers that I had. I just put that back in the refrigerator and had that for lunch the next day. There's a rotisserie chicken that you could easily do this with, but look how delicious. So much fiber, very high in protein. So for your Mounjaro protein ideas, again, you could substitute in whatever protein you wanted with this concept. I've done this also recently with my sheet pan with green beans. Again, click that follow button and click subscribe, because I'm going to show you how to do it with green beans in the next What I Eat in a Day video. But it's so inexpensive, so easy. My family loved it. I loved it. Fresh, nutritious, delicious, and it tasted good. I ran over to Costco because they had pomegranates on sale. I am obsessed with pomegranates, by the way. If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with pomegranates. The way I ran, it was because of the expiration date was like in 2 days. I just froze them. My freezer has become my major cash cow savings in terms of our grocery budget. So I got a whole pallet of them. Mr. Freddie, our dog, was very excited. He was like, let me go see what you got, Mom. And I used it with Fage yogurt, the Greek yogurt, very high in protein in there. And I made a protein bowl out of it. And that was my dessert later on in the day. I love Fage because it's got that little wax paper or parchment paper on top. I used 3/4 of a cup in there, which seemed not like a lot, but I was so full at the end of it. And then I just dumped in my pomegranates. The way I just dumped it in there, it was so good. And that pomegranate amount was 100 calories. So I had that plus the protein from the Greek yogurt. Of course, you know, your girl had to add on there some chia seeds as well. I love chia seeds. Chia. I love the chia seeds on there. Look how good that is. It's delicious. And so the leftover ones that I bought, I will freeze, and then I'll just take them out of the freezer when I use them the next day and let them thaw. I used 1 teaspoon of chia seeds to add extra protein in there. You can use those in your overnight oat recipe and they'll get mushy, but I like them actually crunchy. They taste really good. Very helpful for intestinal issues too, if you're having Mounjaro constipation or Mounjaro side effects like gastrointestinal things. Next up, I had Lmnt electrolytes. I had a full 40-ounce tumbler of my favorite is raspberry. I am obsessed with the raspberry salt Lmnt electrolytes. They're so good. They're so good. And this for me is like a dessert because it's sweet, but it doesn't have junk, sugars, dyes added into it. It's not blue, for example, like some of the electrolytes are blue color. Like it doesn't have any coloring in there. They've got a ton of flavors too. And I'm shaking it all together and then I'm just putting it into my faux Stanley tumbler and going to sip on that for the rest of the night because I am full, y'all. With my Mounjaro appetite suppression, I am really, really full. And with tirzepatide weight loss, or if you're doing semaglutide weight loss, WEGOVY weight loss, same thing, like knowing your body, different days, you're going to have different hunger levels. And today I'm really full. Like I ate so much protein, I'm really full. So tonight I'm making a garland. I actually made an orange garland because I wanted to have air quote dessert, but I didn't want to eat anything. So I had a bag of lemons, a bag of oranges, and a bag of grapefruit. I didn't use all of them. but I wanted to make some holiday garland around my house. I love it so much. It made me so happy. And those oranges smelled delicious, absolutely delicious. So how you do to make your garland, if you want this as your air quote dessert, something that you make but you don't eat, just cut very thin slices of your citrus. You could even do this with limes too, by the way. And that is a little bit thick. I wish I had cut it thinner in hindsight, but cut them really thinly. The grapefruit I like because they look more red once they're done, because you're going to dehydrate them. Or if you don't have a dehydrator, you can easily use them in your oven, which is actually what I did on this particular batch. I didn't feel like pulling out my dehydrator. I love the oranges the best because they smelt the best. After I cooked the grapefruit, it smelled a little bit like pea. And so that wasn't ho, 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 holiday jolly, which is why I like the orange better. But I love the color of the grapefruit best because it came out somewhat red and like this vibrant red with it. So your whole thing with these, making the garland, the citrus garlands or orange garlands or grapefruit garlands or lemon garlands, is you want to make sure it's not wet or having that liquid consistency on them. So you're dehydrating out the water in it, basically. Cooking it on 400 degrees, it literally took me hours and hours and hours because you flip them back and forth. I think it's every 45 minutes or hour. You flip it back and forth. That should be the thin slice, by the way. It should be that thin as opposed to those thicker slices that I did, just to give some context on there. But in addition to the garland, I'm actually making them later today. I'm going to be making it see, there's the thickness. You can see it should be a lot thinner. The thinner is better for cooking. And for the garland, you just need twine. And then if you want wooden beads, I just bought them on Amazon. I'll link them down below for you in the description. And I put them on a parchment tray so they wouldn't stick and I could easily flip them. You do need parchment paper or your citrus will stick. So there's the different colors you can see on there. I have the different colors on there as well. And I made multiple trays of these. So I'm making a garland, but I'm also going to make them as my napkin holders for the holidays with a stick of cinnamon and some cranberries. It's going to be so cute. But the garland itself, that's all I really focused on for today. And because I was so full, I've been making new Mounjaro weight loss lifestyle habits and lifestyle changes. I don't need to have dessert every day. I don't need to eat a big dinner every day. If my body is not hungry, I'm not going to force myself to eat. So doing these like craft projects has been so fun for me. So it's food, but not really food. In between making these, I did make my little boy a cut up grapefruit and a cut up orange for him too. But I just kept flipping these back and forth, and I had our two different ovens going. You can see that's after one round of having them in the oven, and then you just flip them on the other side. So you can see I'm trying to get all that liquid. See the shiny part with the liquid? I'm trying to get all that liquid out. And so this also, I'm going to look at this garland and remember this holiday season, because you can keep them year to year as long as you get the liquid off of them, is like my Mounjaro weight loss year of I did this. I didn't eat unnecessarily or superfluously. I ate because my body was nourished and I got to do something really, really cool. And this to me, I never would have done had it not been for my terzepatide weight loss. I would have been knee deep in holiday snacks and holiday desserts. And instead, I'm doing something else really, really fun and encouraging and setting new holiday traditions for myself as well. So my question for you is, what are you going to do this holiday season to move you closer to your Mounjaro weight loss goals, your WEGOVY weight loss goals, your terzepatide weight loss goals? Eli Lilly, by making Mounjaro, the manufacturer of Mounjaro, has given us a gift, and using this tool to be able to help us. It's not the end all be all, but gosh, does it really, really help. So what are you going to do? Tell me in the comments what your action item is, because we are action folks here at Countess of Shopping. And make sure you get your Element Electrolyte. You can use my link, my discounted link down in the description link below, to get your electrolyte pack of the chocolate mint, the chocolate chai, or the chocolate raspberry for hot drinks. Or if you want to put them in cold drink, I love them with hot drinks, but they do also have for cold drinks too. My favorite for the cold drinks is the raspberry salt. I am obsessed, but that chocolate raspberry is also really, really good in coffee or tea. I didn't have it for this particular Mounjaro what I eat in a day, but I wanted to show you. I just put a little splash of half and half in there, put a third to a half of a stick of the Element electrolytes. I did the chocolate chai and I used my little immersion blender. You don't have to use an immersion blender, and I splattered it everywhere, but I am completely obsessed. My sweet friends, make sure you click that like button, subscribe, and put down below the emoji coffee cup so I know that you've watched this far in the video. It helps me get to know you better. I'll pray over you and also send you encouraging positive thoughts as well.